I believe it was. His name was uh, Sergeant Major Jaju. He is from Kombosom. Actually, he was one of my instructors during the training, when I was at the training school. They call him Mala. So he's the one that I spoke to. At this point, he was the officer at the military police. So when I talked to him, me and Baji, he said, well, I'll see. I don't think you guys are part of this. We're going to just figure a way out to release you. He tried. But he was told he can't.
Did he succeed?
No, he did not.
What happened?
He did not.
What happened?
He came told us that the vice chairman would like to talk to us before we leave, which is Sana Sabali. He wants to talk to us before we leave.
At this stage, where was Sana Sabali, as far as you know?
I don't know where he was here. He might have been home.
Can you, before we proceed to the next step, can you describe the scene at Yudum Barracks when you arrived there?
There were so many people being arrested, and they were just screening them. Who is involved, who you think is involved, and who is not involved. I don't know how they would know at that point, but they were just screening people. And the military police officers were there, including this Mala I'm talking about.
Can you explain how the screening was done?
Well, like I said, particularly myself, I spoke to Mala. That's who I spoke to. He asked me what happened. So I explained to him what happened. I told him we were arrested and what happened in Fajara Barak. And then he said, I don't think you guys are part of this thing. I'm going to just try to figure out a way to release you guys. I said, okay.
Essentially, you are saying that the screening was in the form of questioning or interview
yes.
of people
yes.
who were suspected to have been involved.
Correct? Right, correct.
And who was doing this screening? You mentioned Jajo. He was military police.
Who else was
involved in the screening?
That's who I spoke to. There were so many other people that I don't know their names. Remember, I'm from the gendarmerie, and most of these guys, like I said, with Kabari and Katim Turi, that night was the first time I've even seen them. So it was a force that was brought together, but the personnel don't know each other much.
But do you have any idea which part of the army was involved in the screening?
I know the military police were there.
Okay. So you were screened by Jaju, and he said
yes.
you have to wait for Sana Sabali. What happened next?
And at this point, they said since we were going to have to wait, they stripped us. They took our uniforms away. They had us undressed. They took our shirts. They took our pants.
How about underwears?
Just our underwears. We were left in underwears.
Where did you find another group of detainees there?
Yes, in the guard room, in the cell, there were other detainees.
How were they dressed?
At this point,
how were they
were all in They were in their underwears.
Were there any detainees who were stripped completely naked?
I didn't see anybody stripped naked in the cell. The people that I was with in the cell, we all had.
You all had underwears on.
Yes.
Okay. And what happened after you were stripped to your underwears? What happened after that?
Then they took us to the cell, me and Landin Baji, to join the rest of the soldiers that were detained in the cell.
How many do you recall how many soldiers were there at this time?
It was quite a bit.
Give me an estimate.
I'd probably say about 15 to 20 people.
Apart from Landing Baji, did you know any one of them?
100% I know of them.
Could you take
they were my badge mates.
Could you say take that again?
Two of them, I'm 100% sure I know who they are because they were my batch mates.
Who are they?
Buba Jame, Lieutenant Buba Jame. He was my batch mate.
Who else?
Lieutenant Lamin Dabo, Mohamed Lamin Dabo, was my batch mate. First took his badge.
Did you know any other person there apart from those three people?
Yes. Cadet Silla was there. Jibril Say was there.
What was his rank? What was his rank?
Lieutenant Jibril Say, he was there. And the reason why I know about Jibril Say, his brother used to live in the same block with me in Fajara Barracks. Landin Say, he was a Zandam officer. And they are really tall. Their family, they are all tall. They're all the same height. They're really tall.
And who else?
I believe they have a sister. If I remember right, her name might have been Iso. I met her too. She once came to visit the brother. They are all tall. And so I mentioned Cadet Silla, I mentioned Jibril Say, I mentioned Buba Jame, I mentioned Lamin Dabo. There are a few more other people.
And Landing Badge, of course.
And Landing Badge, yes.
And who else?
There are a few more other people in there that were taken out. I mean, let's not get to the taken out yet. I'm going to get back later. Landing Badge was there. Sidi Manjang was there. Sergeant Sidi Manjang. I believe he was a sergeant. He was from the Presidential Guard. Balo Sedikan was with us. Balo Sedikan, I don't know what was his rank then. He was also with the Presidential Guard. Who else? Mafuji Sonko was with us. Later on, Kabare joined us. Kabare didn't.
And what happened after?
We spent the night in that cell. Then in the morning, which is now the 12th, November 12th in the morning, Sergeant Major Jaju came back to pick us up from the cell. At this point, he took us to military police, their office, to go write, our statements. At this point, they were going into interrogations. So they wanted our statements. So he took me and Baggy to military police. After we got done with our statements.
Who at the military police did you see?
Jaju took us there. And there was two military police officers that I don't know their names. It was the first time I've seen them. They are from the GNA. He had each of these guys attend to one of us. One came with me, the other guy went with Landing by to take our statements.
Did you give statements at all?
Yes.
How long did the process take?
I'd probably say about 2 hours. It took a while.
At this
they had questions. Then
at this stage, were you ever beaten?
Yes. The beating happened in the morning when he came to pick us up from the guard room.
Can you tell us what happened? Can you tell us what happened there?
What happened is they were going through the uniforms. Remember, they stripped us naked the previous night. So the pants of one of the that they took, I guess they found a grenade or something in one of the pockets of this particular pant. And so they asked, whose pants are these? And when that was happening, somebody said it might have been mine. I guess it was Baji. He said, Abdul, is that your pant? I said, no, I don't think that's my pant. Before they even figure out whose pant it was, we had a guy, his name is Kairaba Kamara. He was a provost. At this point, he slapped me. So when he slapped me, Jaju got involved. Jaju intervened. The military police officer who came to pick us up, he intervened. He's like, why are you hitting him? And that's where that ended. That was the only time I was beaten. All along, I was been, in this whole thing. But that was the first time I got beaten. Then we went to military police for the interrogation.
Was the issue of the pants resolved?
That's where we left them. They were trying to find out whose pants are.
So did they take it that it didn't belong to you?
I guess. Since they hit me and Jaju got involved to stop Kairaba, that's where it ended. Nothing was said to me again after that. He just asked us, get in the vehicle, let's go.
So you went for interrogation for 2 hours. After that, what happened?
Right. Then on our way back to the cell, I'll say this is maybe around 1:30, 2 o'clock is. At this point, they didn't drive us. They made us walk. But they had guard, military police personnel, military police office back to the cell. So we came down. As we approached the officer's mess, there was people there. As we go closer, we were able to see who they are and recognize who these people are.
Who were they?
It was the council members.
Tell us who you saw.
I saw Sana Sabali, Lieutenant Sana Sabali, Lieutenant Edward Singate, Lieutenant Sadibu Haidara, Lieutenant Yankuba Ture, and the Army Commander, Babukar Jata.
What were they doing?
I know who would Jata.
What were
they were at the officers' mess.
Do you know what they were doing there?
I don't know what they were doing. I know they were sitting in the officers' mess.
And what happened?
They were sitting over there. So we came passing. As we were passing, we're looking at them. We can see they were laughing at us. Because remember, we are all in underwears. So I guess for us being humiliated, they like that, and they were laughing. It became entertainment to them. Anyway, we went back to the guard room, which was where the cell is.
And what happened there?
We got to the guard room, they opened the gate, we went back into the cell. Moment we got in, they opened the door again and said, it's time to go get lunch. And it was myself and Landing Bagi that got escorted by the provost to go to the cookhouse to pick up our lunch. So we went and picked up our lunch.
Is this guy the same provost who was there?
No,
it's Pants incident.
No. This was a different guy. He wasn't he was not on duty at this point. He wasn't there. It was somebody else. I can just remember the name. I know the guy, but I cannot remember the name. It's been too long. But anyway, we got escorted to go to the kitchen to pick up our lunch. We got the basin of lunch. It was a big basin, like those big basins back home. They use them to wash clothes and whatever, So that's where they had the lunch. And this particular day, I remember what they cooked. It was
what you?
No, it was domoda yapa with nyambi, cassava in it. And we picked up the lunch. We came in, put it into the hallway, and we started eating lunch. And at this point, we had the door open, the cell door open. And Papu Gomez was the one calling people's names. He said,
what was his rank, Papu Gomez?
W2. I guess he was an RSM. Now, I believe right now he's a lieutenant colonel at the training school as we speak.
You mean that he is currently a
Lieutenant
lieutenant colonel at the training school of the Gambia National Army, right?
Yes, yes,
Papu Gomez.
yes.
Proceed,
If you want to read
please.
out the names.
Did he have a list, or he was just calling the names of head?
I believe he had a list because they had the door open halfway and we were sitting down eating. So when they said it, we all stood up and the door opened. He said, whoever is an officer or a soon to be officer, come out. So he started reading the names. All the officers, Lieutenant Buba Jame involved, Lieutenant Jibril Sey, Lieutenant Lamin Dabo, Silla. There's a few more other people. They're from the National Army. Now, I don't want to mix up because I think in my statement I did mention Fafa Nyang in there. If you can see, I believe there's Fafa Nyang in there. Okay, I'm going to try to correct that because I'm not sure the person that I saw leaving that day, it could be Mane or Nyang. I'm not sure. Let me just make that point clear. I don't want to, say anything that's not right.
Your point is noted. Please proceed.
Okay. So at this point, they went out the door. They were tied right there in the guard room.
Do you
and they were
recall
put into,
who tied them?
I've seen Papo Gomez was tying them with Alaji Kanyi.
Did you know Alaji Kanyi before?
No.
How did you come to know him?
Well, he became famous by his deeds.
How did you come to know he was Alaji Kanyi?
I became to know that he's Alaji Kanyi because people that know him, and he used to come back to work over there. He'll come over there. He'll talk to us. He was working there. He was working at Yundum.
So Alaji Kanyi and Papu Gomez tied the detainees,
officers.
The officers.
Yes.
Could you explain how that happened? Were their hands tied? What was tied? Hands or feet?
They were tied their hands. I saw them tying their hands.
In front of them or behind them?
Behind them, because they were laying down on the floor. They came out of the cell, right there in the guard room. They had them lay down and they tied their hands in the back.
At this stage, Alaji Kanyi, was he armed?
I can't remember.
How about RSM Papu Gomez?
I didn't see any visible arms on them. I didn't see. They could have been having maybe pistols, but not AK-47, not rifles.
Do you recall how many officers were removed from the cell?
If I remember right, it's about 8 of them. If I remember right, I might be wrong, but
okay.
Close to that.
What happened after they were removed from the cell?
They removed them, tied them in the guard room there, and then they put them in a vehicle.
Do you recall the type of vehicle?
It was a Land Rover.
Do you recall by any chance the registration number of the vehicle?
GNA 111.
How come you're still able to recall the number plate of that vehicle?
Well, I don't know. I'll forget most of this stuff, but certain things just get stuck to my head, and I got it confirmed too because I wasn't sure if what I had in my head was still the same thing, and I got that confirmed. You're gonna get that person coming later on.
And your testimony is that it was GNA 111. You
Yes,
said
sir.
it was a Land Rover. What color was the Land Rover, if you can recall?
They were painted like military vehicles, like grays, green, I believe.
Gray or green?
Green. I believe it's green.
All
It
right.
was a green
And
vehicle.
did you see the detainees being loaded inside that vehicle, GNA 111?
When they went outside, I didn't have a vision that much at that point to see, because where the guard room was and where we are, where they parked the vehicle, we couldn't see how they were getting in the vehicle. But them leaving.
That again, but what?
When they left, we saw when they were leaving.
Okay, good. And
Yeah.
did you see them again after you see them leave?
Yes. After about 2-3 hours later, they came back.
And what happened when they came back? What did you see?
When they came back at this point, they passed the guard room. They drove like going towards officers' mess, and that's where the kitchen is in the same area. They went drove past the officers' mess a little bit. There is some lime trees. Right beneath those lime trees, we saw them digging. Because when we saw them come back, everybody was curious at that point what was going on. And in the bathroom, in the cell, there was this cinder block that we were climbing on to be able to see through the window. They have these little tiny windows, for ventilation. We are peeking through that.
Did you
And at
personally
that point,
peek through that window?
yes, I
What
did.
did you see?
I saw men digging.
Men from
After
where?
they got
Men from where?
soldiers. I don't recognize the names. I mean the faces, because they are a little bit further than where we are. But we are digging. We can see them digging. And at this point, after they got digging, they had backed up the Land Rover close to the ditch. And at this point, they were just holding them by their legs and throwing them into the ditch. It was the lifeless bodies.
Did you by any chance know how many dead people were thrown into the ditch?
I can't tell. I don't know how many people. Maybe they took some of these guys. Were they all killed? I'm not sure. Did somebody, one of them maybe, I don't know. But they never came back into the cell. Whoever left that cell, that they never came back.
And as far as you can remember, Lieutenant Buba Jame, Lieutenant Jibril Sey, Lieutenant Lamin Dabo, and Cadet Silla, those are the ones who were removed from the cell. They never came back. But 2-3 hours later, when the vehicle returned, you saw lifeless bodies being put inside a ditch. That's your testimony.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
These individuals you named, have you seen them again since?
No.
What's your assumption about what happened to them? What's your belief as to what happened to them?
I believe they took him, wherever they took him, and killed them, and just brought them back and dumped them in a mass grave.
So your belief is that those soldiers who were removed from the cell were the same soldiers who were buried in that mass grave, correct?
That's my belief. Okay.
All right. And what happened after that?
So after that happened, that evening, they left, the council members with their guards.
Okay. Now let's try to establish who was in that group. You said the council members. You mentioned earlier Lieutenant Sanasabali, Lieutenant Edward Haidara, Lieutenant Yankuba Ture, and Army Commander Babu Karjata. Those are the people you named earlier, correct?
Yes. Those are that I know. They are more than that. Well, those are the people that
So said that the council members left with the, do you recall?
Council members, now this afternoon, in the afternoon, I know I saw there this time. These people.
And what happened afterwards?
At that point, we are all in the cell. For some reason, I guess everybody felt it. The whole camp got so quiet. And it was just complete silence. It was like, it's hard to imagine, hard to explain. The sorrow in that place was just too much. And it does not matter if you are detained or if you are outside. Everybody was it was so sorrowful to know that had happened that day. It was a turning point for the country. But we were there, and then,
While there at Hindum Barracks, did you witness any other soldiers being killed?
No.
You mentioned Efafanyang. Do you know what happened to him?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure the person that I thought left the cell with Lamin Dabo, those officers I mentioned, if that was Fafanyang, because I didn't know Fafanyang facially, just like Cadet Silla, and what do you call him, Lieutenant Say. But I was with people that knew all these people. They were from the army. Particularly this guy that slapped me that morning. He did come to join me later. Kairaba was with us. Kairaba Kamara and Sergeant Yankabari, they all joined us later.
Can you explain what that means? They all joined us later.
Okay. So Sergeant Yankabari, after we had our statement taken over at the military police, and we came back and they had done those killings. After the military police went through our statements, they realized that Kabare was actually with us. So they arrested Kabare. Now, I believe he came in the next day. It would have been on Sunday. They did the killings on Saturday. They arrested Kabare on Sunday, if I remember right, which was a blessing because at least, we saved his life. Arrested, and he was to those officers to go. He would have been killed.
How about?
He was also arrested. Now, that been the thing. Maybe he was trying to conceal his involvement. But he came in the cell with us. We all stayed in Unum until we went